Dog owners need to be made aware that allowing their dogs to approach strangers is never acceptable under any circumstances, and calling out the words, "It's okay, he's friendly," does not make it okay at all. This happens all the time. Dog owners assume you're going to be fine with their dog running right up to you at full speed, jumping all over you and knocking down your children, licking you, sticking its wet nose into you, covering you and your offspring with snot, slobber, hair, and traces of urine, feces, and parasitic eggs. I encounter this literally each time I go out on hiking trails. People let their dogs off leash and allow them to freely run up to people. Or they will half-assedly call the dog, which almost never listens, and pretend to want to get their dog under control. But the truth is, they don't care. They want you to have an interaction with their dog. It's almost like they're dying for you to touch their dog. They assume you're going to be overjoyed at the mere sight of their dog and want nothing more than to pet it and shower it with affection. Now, I can see them making this assumption in a dog park where other dog lovers congregate. But this happens when I'm out in the woods, at the lake, at the beach, at the park, in places where no dogs allowed signs are clearly displayed. Where can we go to enjoy nature and not be forced to interact with dogs? Literally nowhere. Because dog owners spring their dogs on us absolutely everywhere. There is no escape. Nowhere we can feel relaxed, because we are constantly on guard, anticipating a dog's rude intrusion. Nobody wants a stranger running up into their personal space. But when that stranger is of a species that regularly bites, mauls, and kills people who are minding their own business, you're expected to greet it happily. No one likes to have their personal space invaded by a sociopath who lacks a conscience. But when that sociopath happens to be a scavenger that feasts on dirty underwear and used tissues, licks its anus, eats excrement, and then wants to lick you, we are all expected to welcome the intrusion with joy. Dog owners don't realize they are robbing us of our ability to enjoy the outdoors by letting their dogs violate us. Their ignorance and inconsideration can ruin our day. It is so unfair and infuriating. I just went for a walk with my kids to a creek near our house. We were playing by the water, having a great time, enjoying the natural beauty of the landscape, when all of a sudden I realized we were being approached by an off-leash and monstrous Great Dane that was the size of a small horse. The owner, an older man who was quite a distance away, was calling the dog, but of course the pea-brained abomination was not listening to him, and did not take its beady, soulless eyes off us as it steadily moved closer to us. I felt a rush of adrenaline. Can we just enjoy one outing in nature, just one hike, once in a while, without being terrorized by an off-leash, unpredictable beast? The last time we came to this creek, different people showed up with a large dog that came bounding up to us. "Oh, it's okay, he's friendly," they yelled, as though calling out those words somehow excuses the dog's out-of-control behavior. "We don't like dogs," I cried out, and I yelled at the dog to go away. The bewildered owners looked at me like I was absolutely crazy. I heard gasps. Needless to say, my outburst killed the mood, my kids got upset, and our outing was ruined. Thanks, dog owner. I'm sure they'll be telling the story of the crazy woman at the creek who yelled at their sweet fur baby, while believing they did absolutely nothing wrong. They will probably say they feel sorry for my kids and that I need psychiatric help. And here again, the same scenario was playing out. What do I do? What is the right way to handle this encounter? Why do I have to even plan for this and deal with this? Why do dog owners fully expect everyone to greet their intrusive, ill-mannered dogs happily with gratitude and wish to pet them? Why do they think you are crazy to display anything but unbridled adoration for their stinking hyperactive flea bags? The owner was finally successful in calling his dog back to him, and my kids and I decided to move further up the creek to give them plenty of space. We decided we would give them time to play by the water and wait for them to leave before heading home up the only path to the road. After a while, the man and his dog disappeared up the path, and we were sure they had left, So we waited about 10 minutes and decided it was time to go. As we approached the path and came around the corner, there stood the owner, holding his gigantic, panting, whining, drooling, stinking demon on a leash. The hideous monstrosity was gasping for air and nearly choking itself as it tried desperately to break free from its owner so it could lunge at us. I was overcome with disgust at the sight of this mutant, which was absolutely hideous. "It's okay, she's friendly," the owner called out. And don't they always say that? How do you know she won't bite us? You don't know that. No dog owner can know for sure. How many times have owners said those words immediately before their dogs attacked someone? But even though all dogs are unpredictable, these dog owners trust their dogs implicitly. Let's say the dog was somehow 100% reliable and predictable, and there was actually no chance the dog was going to hurt us. It's still unacceptable to let your dog approach people and enter their personal space uninvited. My child could have been bitten by a dog in the past. It's not that unlikely, seeing as the Humane Society of the United States reports that 50% of children will be bitten by a dog before their 12th birthday. Many victims of dog attacks are left severely traumatized and might suffer from PTSD. There are many such people in society. How do these dog owners know I am not one of them, or that my children are not one of them? Shouldn't that sizable percentage of the population be able to enjoy outings in nature without being triggered by dogs rushing up to them? I am sure many of these traumatized dog bite victims stay home and deprive themselves of fresh air, exercise, and the beauty of the outdoors because they know they will encounter off-leash dogs and their inconsiderate owners. The thought is too much for them to bear. I looked at the owner who was struggling to restrain his fiendish and abhorrent hound from hell, and I said, "I hate dogs. Keep it away from us." I am sure that was not the response he was expecting, and it didn't feel nice to have to say it. But I was peeved, and I felt I needed to be clear. I was annoyed by how he was just standing there holding his dog. It was as though he had been waiting for us. I have seen this kind of thing before, countless times. Dog owners, like I said, seem desperate for you to touch their dogs. They approach you with their mutts as though they are offering you a service, doing you some sort of favor by bestowing upon you the right and privilege of running your hand across their mangy cur's stinking oily coat. Because yeah, we're all just dying for a greasy, dirty, smelly hand. It's really bizarre and has happened to me a number of times. Once I was in a Walmart parking lot with my young children when some douchebag came walking towards us with a huge Rottweiler on a leash and called out and asked if my kids wanted to pet the repugnant abomination. "No, thank you," I replied, but he persisted, saying, "He's very friendly." Look, man, I don't care how friendly you think your dog is. I don't want your fanged, slobbering, foul-smelling, scavenging turd muncher anywhere near my kids. And they always act offended when you fail to fawn over their worm-infested varmints. How dare you be less than thrilled at the opportunity to shower their vomit-slurping, crotch-sniffing, leg-humping, tail-chasing piss drinkers with affection. They expect you to react to their dog as though it's 1984 and you're meeting Michael Jackson in the flesh. When I bring my kids to the playground, we almost always run into dog owners who ignore leash laws and think it's fine to let their dogs approach children. I recently observed a man walking his off-leash dog around the perimeter of a playground, beckoning kids to come pet his dog. He was telling them his dog was friendly. It was like watching a drug dealer trying to get children hooked onto the latest street drug. I'm telling you, it is super creepy how dog lovers are seemingly desperate to get you to touch their dogs. It really makes me wonder if they aren't infected with some sort of mind-controlling pathogen they hope to spread to you. I am so weary from all of this. I dropped my son off at his first soccer practice of the year a couple days ago. Immediately after he got out of the car and joined his teammates on the field, a vehicle pulled up next to mine with a pit bull-type dog hanging half its body out of the window. When a child opened the door, the land shark bolted out and ran onto the field, circling the boys, including my son, before the owner called it back. No apology, nothing. The owner didn't even seem concerned. No one did. They just assumed everyone would be okay with this, even though there was a large, and I mean large, sign that says no dogs allowed on the field. Why be so careless with the creature if you know there are rules in place and that dogs are not allowed on the field? Again, it never crosses their minds that one of these children or their parents might have had a negative experience with a dog or be uncomfortable with its presence. They just assume everyone is going to love their dog. You need to take greater measures to restrain your animal and keep it from running up to people. No one cares how friendly you think your dog is. Many of us don't like dogs. We may have had bad experiences with dogs. We may simply be uncomfortable around them and not wish to be anywhere near them. The presence of dogs makes a lot of people anxious. We are a sizable percentage of the population, and our well-being is far more important than your desire to have an unpredictable, instinct-driven beast with fangs run free in public. Let everyone enjoy our parks, beaches, soccer fields, and hiking trails. You have your backyards and your dog parks. Stick to them and quit forcing your dogs on the rest of us. We want nothing to do with your filthy, unpredictable scavenger mutants. We don't want to see, touch, hear, or smell your dogs. They are an affront to our senses. They fill us with disgust and are highly offensive to us. They all have parasites. It is not a question of if your dog has parasites, but of how many parasites it has. This will be the subject of my next video. They can all transmit parasitic, viral, and bacterial disease. Even just a lick from a dog can infect us with capnocytophaga bacteria and kill us or necessitate the amputation of our limbs. So stop terrorizing us and quit demanding we interact with your stinking, slobbering shit machines. We don't care how friendly you think they are. Keep your dog addiction and your disgusting lifestyle to yourself.